You're nothing but a worthless loser. Those words still echo in my mind, cutting deeper than any knife ever could. Coming from my own sister, the very person I'd sacrificed everything for, they left wounds that would never truly heal. But let me start from the beginning, from the moment my world began its slow descent into chaos. 5 years ago, I was Amelia, a 20-year-old college student with dreams as big as the city skyline. That was before our family imploded, before I learned that blood ties could become chains that slowly suffocate you. I remember that night perfectly, the sound of breaking glass from our parents' room, my sister Haley's terrified eyes as she clutched my arm, the whispered arguments that grew into screams. Mom had discovered Dad's gambling debts, tens of thousands of dollars hidden in secret accounts. Our comfortable middle-class life was about to shatter like that vase I heard crashing against the wall. Amelia, Haley whispered, her 16-year-old face pale in the darkness of our shared bedroom, are they getting divorced? I pulled her closer, stroking her hair the way I had since she was little. I don't know, sweetie. But whatever happens, I'll take care of you. I promise. That promise would become my prison. Within weeks, our family's financial situation became dire. Dad's gambling had eaten through their savings, and Mom's part-time teaching salary barely covered the basics. I watched Haley's dreams of college slipping away, saw the fear in her eyes when she thought about her future. That's when I made the decision that would alter the course of my life. I withdrew from college, ignoring my professors' protests about wasting my potential. I took 2 jobs, administrative work during the day and bartending at night. Every dollar I earned went towards keeping our family afloat, towards preserving what little normalcy remained in Haley's life. You don't have to do this, Mom said one night, finding me counting bills at the kitchen table at 3 a.m. This isn't your responsibility. But it was. Because in our family, I had always been the responsible one, the fixer, the one who held everything together while everyone else fell apart. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into months. I watched from behind the bar as my former classmates celebrated their graduations. I smiled and mixed their drinks, swallowing the bitterness that rose in my throat. Haley thrived in high school, unaware of the late nights I spent calculating bills, the meals I skipped to ensure she had everything she needed. Then came the letter, Haley's college acceptance. Full of excitement but light on scholarships. She bounded into my tiny apartment, eyes shining with dreams I recognized all too well. I got in, Amelia. But her face fell as she looked at the financial aid package. The scholarships aren't enough. Mom and Dad can't live with me, I heard myself say, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. You can stay here during school. No rent, no bills. I'll help with whatever the scholarships don't cover. Her squeal of delight, her arms thrown around my neck, these were the moments I lived for. I didn't see the calculating look that crossed her face, didn't recognize it for the warning sign it was. You're the best sister ever, she exclaimed. I don't know what I'd do without you. I should have seen it then, the way she accepted my offer without question, the entitled assumption that of course I would help. But I was too busy basking in her happiness, too focused on being the good sister, the responsible one. Looking back now, I realize that moment was the beginning of the end. Every sacrifice I'd made, every dream I'd deferred, had led to this point. And it would lead to so much more, to betrayal, to heartbreak, to that moment when my sister would call me a worthless loser in front of our entire family. But standing there in my small apartment, watching Haley dance around with her acceptance letter, I thought I was finally doing something right. I thought I was giving her the chance I never had. I didn't understand then that some people don't want a chance, they want a blank check, an endless well of support they can drain dry without a second thought. We'll figure out the details later, Haley said, already scrolling through her phone. I need to post about this. Everyone's going to be so excited. I smiled, ignoring the twinge in my chest as I thought about the extra shifts I'd need to pick up, the ways I'd have to stretch my already thin budget. Because that's what family does, right? We sacrifice for each other. We help each other chase our dreams. What I didn't know then was that sometimes, those dreams become nightmares. And sometimes, the people we sacrifice everything for are the ones who end up destroying us. But that understanding would come later. For now, I was still Amelia, the good sister, the responsible one, the fixer. I was still believing in family, in loyalty, in the power of sacrifice. God, I was such a fool. I didn't sleep that night after Haley left. Instead, I sat on my small balcony, watching the city lights flicker like distant stars. My friend Catherine had warned me once about the dangers of always being the family's savior. You can't keep setting yourself on fire to keep others warm, she'd said, watching me pick up extra shifts to cover Dad's latest emergency. But that's what love is, isn't it? That's what family means, being there when no one else is, catching the pieces before they shatter completely. I pulled out my budget spreadsheet, the numbers swimming before my tired eyes. My savings, meager as they were, would cover Haley's first semester's books. The extra shifts at the bar would handle her meal plan. If I cut back on groceries, maybe picked up some freelance work on weekends. My phone buzzed, a text from Haley. OMG, sis, my friends are so jealous. They say I'm so lucky to have you. By the way, do you think we could go shopping next week? I need some new stuff for college life. I stared at the message, something uncomfortable stirring in my chest. But I pushed it down, the way I'd learned to push down all my doubts, all my needs, all my dreams. Sure, I typed back. We'll figure something out. That's what I'd been doing for years, figuring things out, making things work, being the responsible one. Even now, I can still feel the weight of those expectations pressing down on my shoulders, hear the constant refrain in my head, Amelia will handle it. Amelia will fix it. Amelia will make it right. But here's the thing about being the family fixer, eventually, you forget how to fix yourself. You forget that you're allowed to have needs, to have dreams, to have limits. You become so used to being the strong one that you forget how to be vulnerable. I closed my laptop and leaned back in my chair, letting the cool night air wash over my face. Somewhere in the city, Haley was probably still celebrating, her future bright with possibilities I had given up. And I was happy for her, truly. But there was something else there too, something I wasn't ready to acknowledge, a tiny spark of resentment, a whisper of doubt. If I had known then what I know now, would I have made the same choice? Would I have opened my home, my wallet, my life to someone who would ultimately see me as nothing more than a stepping stone? But that's the thing about the past, we can't change it. We can only learn from it, grow from it, let it shape us into something stronger, something wiser, something more resilient. And oh, how I would need that resilience in the months to come. The first red flag came just 2 weeks after Haley moved in. I was exhausted from a double shift, my feet aching as I climbed the stairs to my apartment. The moment I opened the door, I knew something was wrong. Music blasted from Haley's room, the bass vibrating through the walls. Empty takeout containers littered the coffee table, and a collection of shopping bags, branded with names I couldn't afford to shop at, were scattered across the floor. Haley. I called out, my voice drowned by the music. She emerged from her room, wearing what looked like a brand new outfit, price tags still dangling. Oh hey, Amelia. You won't believe the deals I found today. My stomach churned as I picked up one of the receipts. $420 for a single sweater. That was almost half my weekly earnings from the bar. Haley, I said carefully, how did you pay for all this? She waved dismissively. Don't worry, I used the emergency credit card Dad gave me. The same father who couldn't help with her tuition had apparently given her a credit card. My hands started shaking. You know he can't afford. God, Amelia, why do you have to be such a killjoy? She rolled her eyes. It's fine. Everyone at school dresses like this. I can't show up looking like some charity case. The words hit like a slap. Was that how she saw me? Like a charity case in my secondhand clothes and worn-out shoes? But that was just the beginning. Over the next few months, I watched in horrified fascination as Haley transformed our apartment into her personal Instagram backdrop. Every surface became a potential photo opportunity, every meal a chance to show off her aesthetic lifestyle. One evening, I came home to find 6 strangers in my living room, all wearing outfits that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Amelia. Haley squealed. Meet my study group. We're having a little social media collaboration session. The study group had apparently ordered $300 worth of sushi delivery on my credit card. I knew you wouldn't mind, Haley said later, when I confronted her. It's for my personal brand development. You want me to succeed, don't you? Success. The word had become her weapon of choice, a shield to deflect any criticism. Every expense, every breach of boundaries was justified in the name of a success. Then came the night that changed everything. I was counting bills at the kitchen table, a familiar ritual of robbing Peter to pay Paul, when Haley's phone buzzed. She was in the shower, so the notification lit up her screen in full view. Payment declined, attempted charge $1,850 at Luxury Escape Spa and Resort. My hands trembled as I picked up her phone. The screen revealed a web of financial deceit that made my head spin. Credit card statements, buy now pay later accounts, loans from a friends, all hidden beneath a glittering surface of Instagram posts and TikTok videos. What are you doing with my phone? Haley stood in the doorway, water dripping from her hair, eyes narrow with suspicion. Want to explain this? I held up the phone. Or the $5,000 in hidden credit card debt. Or maybe the loan you took from your classmate Jennifer. Her face transformed, beautiful features twisting into something ugly. You had no right to look at my private information. I have every right when you're living under my roof, eating food I pay for, while secretly spending thousands on spa weekends. You're just jealous, she spat. Jealous that I'm actually making something of myself while you're stuck in this pathetic little apartment with your pathetic little jobs. The words hung in the air between us, poisonous and irretrievable. Is that what you think? My voice was eerily calm. That I'm pathetic? Look at yourself, Amelia. Working 2 dead-end jobs, no social life, no ambition. You're not living, you're just existing. At least I'm trying to build something. Building something? On what foundation, Haley? On lies? On debt? On your sister's sacrifices? She laughed, actually laughed. Sacrifices? Please. Nobody asked you to drop out of college. Nobody asked you to be the family martyr. You chose that role because it makes you feel superior. I stared at her, this stranger wearing my sister's face. Get out. What? Get out. Now. You can't kick me out. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. She stormed to her room, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I sat at the kitchen table, numb, as the sounds of her rage filtered through the thin walls, drawers slamming, hangers scraping, curses flowing. An hour later, she emerged with a suitcase and a cold smile. You'll regret this. When I'm successful and you're still stuck in this dump, you'll regret throwing away your only family. Family. I laughed bitterly. Is that what you call this? She paused at the door. Mom and Dad will hear about this. Tell them whatever you want. I'm done being everyone's ATM. The door slammed. In the sudden silence, I could hear my heart pounding, feel the adrenaline coursing through my veins. My phone started buzzing immediately, Mom, Dad, texts from Haley's friends. I turned it off. Walking to her room, I pushed open the door. The place was a disaster, discarded shopping bags, empty makeup containers, clothes she deemed too cheap to take with her. On her desk, half hidden under a fashion magazine, was a credit card statement I hadn't seen before. My hands shook as I read the charges: luxury restaurants, designer boutiques, weekend getaways with her influencer of friends. The total made my head spin, more than I made in 3 months of both jobs combined. And there, in her trash can, I found the final betrayal: torn up scholarship letters. She'd lost her academic funding months ago due to poor performance but hadn't told me. I'd been unknowingly covering her full tuition, draining my savings while she lived like a social media queen. The rage that filled me wasn't hot, it was ice cold, crystalline, clarifying. Years of sacrifice, of putting everyone else first, of being the responsible one, for what? To be called pathetic by the very person I'd given everything to protect? My phone buzzed again, a text from Catherine, you okay? Haley's posting some wild stuff on social media. I turned my phone back on to find my sister had already spun her victim narrative. Posts about toxic family and being abandoned flooded her feeds, garnering sympathy from followers who didn't know the truth. Well, two could play that game. I spent the next hour gathering evidence, credit card statements, screenshots of her luxury purchases, photos of the scholarship letters. Then I started composing my own post. Time for some truth, I typed, my hand steady now. Let me tell you a story about family, sacrifice, and the real cost of Instagram perfection. The truth was about to come out, and this time, I wouldn't be the one burning. The aftermath of my social media expose hit like a nuclear bomb. Within hours, my post had gone viral in our extended family circles. But Haley, ever the master of manipulation, had already launched her counterattack. My sister's mental breakdown thread, her post began. Living with an emotionally unstable person who's jealous of your success. My phone exploded with notifications. Relatives I hadn't heard from in years suddenly had opinions about our situation. Aunt Martha, how could you embarrass your sister publicly? Uncle James, family matters should stay private. Even my childhood friend Nicole messaged me, are you okay? This doesn't sound like you. Then came the nuclear option, my mother's call. What have you done? Her voice trembled with rage. Do you know Haley's crying in my kitchen right now? She says you're trying to ruin her life. I laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. Did she tell you about the maxed out credit cards? The lost scholarships? How she's been living like a queen while I work myself to death. She's young. She's just trying to fit in with her peers. You know how important appearances are these days. No, Mom. I don't know. Because I've been too busy working 2 jobs to care about Instagram likes. This isn't like you, Amelia. You've always been the responsible one. That's right. The responsible one. The one who fixes everything. Well, I'm done fixing Haley's messes. A pause. Then, your father wants to speak with you. Dad's voice was gruff, uncomfortable. Princess, let's talk about this rationally. How much does Haley owe you? I can set up a payment plan. With what money, Dad? The money you lost gambling? Or the new secret credit card you gave her? The line went silent. In the background, I could hear Haley's theatrical sobs. We're having a family meeting, Mom declared. Tomorrow. 6 p.m. Your aunt's hosting. No thanks. This isn't a request, Amelia. Be there. The next evening, I walked into Aunt Linda's house to find what felt like a tribunal waiting for me. Extended family members lined the living room, their faces a mix of concern and judgment. Haley sat on the couch, perfectly posed in designer clothes, eyes artfully rimmed with tears. Amelia, Aunt Linda started, her voice dripping with forced kindness. We're here because we're worried about you. This behavior, it's not healthy. Behavior? I looked around the room. You mean like exposing the truth? Your sister made some mistakes, Uncle James cut in. But publicly shaming her? That's cruel. Haley sniffled delicately. I just wanted to make you proud. To show everyone that your sacrifices weren't wasted. Stop. My voice cut through her performance. Just stop. Show them the credit card statements, Haley. Show them the shopping sprees. Show them how you lost your scholarships months ago and didn't tell me. The room shifted uncomfortably. Is this true? Aunt Linda turned to Haley. About the scholarships? Haley's face crumpled. I was stressed. The pressure to maintain my grades while building my social media presence. While building your what? I pulled out my phone. Let me show everyone you're a pressure. Here's you at the luxury escape spa last month. Here's your $500 sushi dinner. Here's your weekend trip to the coast, all while I was working double shifts to pay your tuition. The room erupted in overlapping voices. Accusations flew. Defenses were mounted. Through it all, my parents sat silent, their faces ashen. Then Haley played her trump card. At least I'm trying to make something of myself, she screamed, jumping up. Look at her. 25 years old, no degree, no career, no life. Just a sad, bitter person who can't stand seeing anyone else succeed. You want to know why I didn't tell you about the scholarships? Because I knew you'd try to control me, just like you tried to control everything. The silence that followed was deafening. Control you. My voice was deadly quiet. Let me tell you about control, Haley. Control is working 60-hour weeks because your sister needs textbooks. Control is skipping meals because someone had to pay dad's gambling debts. Control is putting your entire life on hold because your family can't get their act together. I turned to face the room. You want to know what I've been controlling? The complete collapse of this family. While all of you were playing pretending dad's gambling wasn't a problem, pretending mom's denial wasn't enabling him, pretending Haley's social media addiction wasn't destroying her future, I was holding everything together. But I'm done. Amelia, Mom whispered, please. No. I'm done being the family ATM. I'm done being the responsible one. I'm done watching my sister turn into an entitled monster while everyone enables her. From now on, you can all fix your own messes. Haley laughed, a high, hysterical sound. See? She's crazy. This is exactly what I was talking about. She's just jealous because I have actual prospects, while she's stuck being a worthless. The slap echoed through the room. Not from me, from Catherine, who had arrived quietly during the chaos. Enough, Catherine said, her voice ice cold. I've watched this family drain Abby dry for years. Not anymore. How dare you? Mom started to rise, but Catherine cut her off. No, how dare you? How dare you all sit here and judge her, when she's the only one who's sacrificed everything for this family? While you were all playing happy family on social media, I was watching my best friend work herself to exhaustion. I was watching her cry over bills she shouldn't have had to pay. I was watching her dreams die while Haley posted about her blessed life. She turned to me. Show them. With shaking hands, I pulled out the final piece of evidence, a thick folder of bank statements, credit card bills, loan documents. 5 years of financial abuse laid bare in black and white. This is what family support looks like, I said, dropping the folder on the coffee table. This is what your young girl finding herself has cost. Every penny documented. Every sacrifice recorded. Take a good look, because this is the last time I'll ever spend a cent on any of you. The room exploded again, but I was already walking out, Catherine beside me. Behind us, I could hear Haley's screams, Mom's sobs, Dad's attempts to restore order. But for the first time in years, their chaos wasn't my problem anymore. As we reached my car, Catherine squeezed my hand. You okay? I looked back at the house, at the family that had taken everything I had to give and still wanted more. No, I said honestly. But I will be. The next morning, I woke up to find my social media flooded with messages. The family meeting had spawned its own viral drama, with relatives taking sides and sharing pieces of the story. But this time, I didn't engage. Instead, I opened my laptop and started searching for new apartments. It was time for a fresh start, far from the wreckage of my family's expectations. The truth was out, the bridges were burned, and for the first time in my adult life, I felt something that had been missing for years: freedom. 1 year can change everything. I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows of my new luxury apartment, sipping champagne and watching the city lights twinkle below. My reflection shows a woman transformed, designer suit, confident posture, success radiating from every pore. This is what victory looks like. The past year has been a masterclass in karma. After our explosive family confrontation, I focused on myself for the first time in my life. No more late-night emergency calls, no more financial bailouts, no more sacrificing my dreams for others. Just pure, unrelenting ambition. I quit both my jobs and took a risk. Catherine's tech company was looking for someone to head their client relations department. Your experience dealing with difficult people makes you perfect for this, she'd said with a knowing smile. She was right. My first major decision? Reporting Haley's fraudulent GoFundMe campaign to the platform. She had launched it the day after our confrontation, painting herself as a victim of family abandonment who needed help staying in school. The investigation that followed was illuminating. "We've discovered multiple violations," the platform's fraud department informed me. This isn't her first attempt at deceptive fundraising. The dominoes began to fall. The university launched their own investigation into her scholarship loss. Turned out she hadn't just failed classes, she'd been running a small side business selling exam answers to other students. "Miss Bennett," the dean's office called me. "We appreciate your bringing this to our attention. Your sister's academic misconduct has been thoroughly documented. Haley was expelled. Her influencer dreams crashed and burned as her followers learned the truth. Her expensive wardrobe went to consignment shops. Her credit cards were cut off. Her fake perfect life crumbled like the house of cards it had always been. Last I heard, she was working as a cashier at a discount store, living in our parents' basement. Her social media accounts are ghost towns now, her last post a desperate attempt to sell used luxury items at fraction of their cost." Speaking of our parents, their fall from grace was equally spectacular. Dad's gambling addiction finally caught up with him when his bookie came calling. Mom's enablement had left them with a second mortgage they couldn't pay. They had to sell the family home, the one they'd remortgaged to cover Dad's debts and Haley's spending. "Please, Amelia," Mom had begged over the phone. "We need help with the down payment for a smaller place." "No," I'd replied, enjoying the imported tea in my new kitchen. "I don't think I will." They downsized to a 2-bedroom apartment in a declining neighborhood. Dad's credit is ruined. Mom had to return to full-time teaching at a school she hates. They can barely afford their basic bills, let alone Haley's expensive tastes. The family that once judged me? They've changed their tune. Aunt Linda called last week, gushing about my incredible success, and how she always knew I had it in me. I let her call go to voicemail. Uncle James tried to connect on LinkedIn. Deleted. Cousin Rebecca wanted to grab coffee and catch up. Blocked. My success became their cautionary tale. "Did you hear about the Bennett family?" they whisper at gatherings I no longer attend. The youngest one lost everything. The parents had to sell their house. "But Amelia, have you seen her new life?" "Oh, they've seen it. I make sure of that. My social media is a carefully curated display of everything they lost: business class flights, 5-star hotels, designer wardrobes that Haley could only dream of now. Every post a reminder of what happens when you bite the hand that fed you." Last month, I ran into Haley at a coffee shop. She was in her cashier uniform, dark circles under her eyes. I was in Chanel, fresh from a board meeting. Our eyes met. She started to speak. I turned away and ordered my $8 artisanal latte, then walked past her like she was invisible. Later that day, a mutual acquaintance told me she broke down crying in the break room. Apparently, she's been telling anyone who'll listen about how she used to have everything before her psycho sister ruined her life. I laughed when I heard that. Then I posted a photo of myself on my office balcony, holding a champagne flute, with the caption, "Success is the best revenge." #blessed life, #self-made. The likes poured in. The comments were filled with fire emojis and a girl boss praise. Somewhere in a basement bedroom, I knew Haley was watching, remembering when those likes used to be hers. My new life isn't just about material success, though that's certainly sweet. It's about reclaiming my time, my energy, my worth. I work because I want to, not because someone else needs bailing out. I travel because I can, not because I'm escaping family drama. I succeed because I finally put myself first. Tomorrow, I'm viewing a penthouse in the city's most exclusive building. Next month, I'm taking a luxury cruise. By the end of the year, I might buy a vacation home. The possibilities are endless when you're not carrying dead weight. This is what winning looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what happens when you finally realize that family is just a word, and some bonds are meant to be broken. I raise my glass to my reflection, to the woman who rose from the ashes of sacrifice to build an empire of her own. Cheers, I whisper. To living well. And somewhere across the city, in a basement bedroom or a discount store checkout line, those who once called me worthless are learning the true meaning of that word. I've never felt more alive.